Today's video isn't going to be very long, I don't think. It is just a short little video for you guys for Halloween. Which brings me to it. Happy Halloween! I hope you have a good weekend. So you've probably read the title, and yes, it's right, I'm teaching you how to be more suspenseful today. These are some principles that I use specifically to build suspense in some of my short films, and I hope you enjoy them. It'll be broken up into visual and audible principles or tactics or tricks that can be used in your projects. So let's get right into it. Visual tactic number 1 is add a slight push in. Whenever you have a shot that pushes in very slowly, very slightly, almost imperceivably, it draws the viewer's attention in and puts them into where the character is. I don't know why it is, but that's what happens. You just get sucked into the film. Visual trick number 2 is to frame your character close. Do close-ups. Maybe do 1 or 2 wides to establish the scene and establish their surroundings, but generally stay close and shoot things from the character's perspective. That way, you're there with the character, and that can build so much suspense because you feel like you are in the scene. Visual tactic number 3 for building suspense is to give your character a disadvantage. You see this all the time in horror movies. The character will walk down a long hallway and then one by one the lights turn off. That gives your character a disadvantage. They're at the end of a hallway. They've got nowhere else to go and they can't see what's coming to get them. That builds suspense because it makes us feel anxiety because, oh no, they're at a disadvantage. They're going to get eaten. They're going to get captured. It just helps build the severity of the situation, and in turn, it builds suspense. I just want to interrupt this video just to say I really hope that you stick around and subscribe to the channel. It takes a couple of seconds. These videos on average take me around 15 to 20 hours to create, which I know sounds like a lot of time and doesn't look like it, but trust me, I try to go into minute detail and make it as good and as polished as I can, which is difficult to do when you only have a week to make it. So I really appreciate if you could subscribe. So tip number 1 is to lower your audio levels. It's weird, but it works. The human brain has a weird phenomenon where it hears a quiet noise, it pays attention to it, it's alert. And whenever you hear a loud noise, then you pay attention and you're alert. Whereas, mid-range level noise, your brain just sort of concentrates, but it isn't like alert. So if you duck your audio levels right before the big suspenseful push-in scene or the reveal of the monster, if you start to duck those audio levels and then bring them back up, that pulls your audience in audibly and just really builds the effect. I'm not talking about making your audience jump scare. I'm talking about making your audience feel fear. I want to convey this to make them feel anxious and scared. I'm not trying to make them jump. Audio tactic number 2 is something that can go a couple of different ways. Say your scene has a character and the room goes dark. If you shoot from the character's perspective into the dark and just shoot that, that's fine. And that can build a wee bit of suspense because something could be looking from the shadows. But something that I love adding, and I love doing this, is adding just a noise that's seemingly coming from the darkness. It could be a crunch or like a squish or a wet footstep, something like that. Because that tells your audience that there's something in the dark and they come up in their own heads with what the monster is and what it looks like, and that can just build something because something is in the dark. And finally, the last audio trick for this video is to use tone. In this scenario, you have a person getting chased down a hallway by a maniac with a knife. A very cliche scene. So what we do here is we have the person running down, we have all the you know, the noise of their footsteps, the panting, the breathing, the man yelling or whatever. We have all those aspects. And you can watch it like that. You know, it just is what it is. You know, you're watching someone get chased down a hallway. But what makes it so much better is adding tone and emotion to the scene using some sort of sound effect. In a lot of movies, it can be down to score, you know, using a good score that's hectic and bellowing and building and building, and that helps build the suspense of a scene because they're getting chased. So rather than looking into the dark and hearing that crunch or that wet footstep, you hear those, but with also a tone underlaid under the scene to make the scene so much more suspenseful. So I really hope you liked this video. I thank you so much for sticking around to the end. I hope you had a really good time, and I hope you have a really good Halloween. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video if you want to share this to your filmmaking friends, because these are advanced tactics that are really simple, just aren't talked about. So thank you for watching again. I'll see you next week. Happy Halloween, everybody. Slang boy.